Today, what I'm going to be talking about are 3 essentials for your private practice. So, what do I think the 3 essentials are for private practice? I'm going to start by telling you a little story about what one of my coaches told me. And she said to me, I think you are one of the most courageous women I've ever met. And I was completely gobsmacked when she said this because I'm a real scaredy cat and I'm not somebody who goes out and does lots of bold things. I haven't traveled the world. I'm not hugely sporty. I don't climb mountains or, do any of the sort of scary stuff that so many people do to challenge themselves, like running a marathon, all those sorts of things. I think, no, I really am not very courageous. So I was really quite surprised when she told me that she thought I was courageous. But it's funny, isn't it? Because the areas that she was sort of thinking that I was courageous in was because I'm willing to try new things out in terms of my business. And I think that is the first essential that I would pick on for your private practice, and that's actually courage. But the reason I told you that story is because I don't see myself as courageous at all. And I think if you say to yourself, well, I've got to have a whole lot of courage to get going, you sort of think, well, I'm not very courageous, so that means I can't do it. So please don't take away the wrong message here. What I'm trying to say is courage is not about the absence of fear. It's not about feeling sort of like, yeah, I'm really courageous. It's not those things, actually. Courage is just taking that first step anyway, despite what you're feeling. And when you're first starting out, you can think to yourself, I can't possibly do it. Or you think to yourself, what happens if? And you come up with all these what if problems. Those are the sorts of things that can come up for us when we're thinking about starting a private practice, or when we're thinking about doing something new like publishing our website or starting a social media channel or going to a networking event. All these what ifs come up for us. And the fact is, it's not about thinking, oh, I'm courageous, I'm going to overcome them. It's just doing them anyway. So I think that's pretty essential for your private practice, is actually just to be willing to have a go and to think to yourself, you know what, I'm just going to try and it's okay. And that brings me on to the second essential, and that is determination. And again, that sounds like a very sort of, I'm determined, some sort of thing about, stomping along with my jack boots on, sort of lumberjack type thing. I'm determined. No, determination is just that sort of willingness to keep going, even if you do actually fall flat on your face. It's being willing to pick yourself up. It's being willing to look failure in the face and to think, what can I learn from this? What is this teaching me? Why is this coming up now? What can I learn from it? And despite those things happening, just seeing that as an opportunity to learn. And really, a lot of this, it's about having a growth mindset. It's not about thinking to yourself, I'm either the right person to do private practice because I've got all these innate abilities, or I'm definitely the wrong sort of person because I haven't got those innate abilities. Let's just get rid of that. It's about just being willing to try and being willing to learn. Let's just have a look at this comment here. Progression counselling, so true, it is scary, but sometimes just taking a breath and leaping in is important. And Elaine's somebody who's established a really successful private practice, and I've seen her go through this. I've seen her start, and she's got going and she's done it. So do take that leap. You can do it. And the third point I wanted to make in relation to the other 2 points is that it can really, really help to have some support. So I think the three essentials are courage, determination, and support. Because if you've got someone who believes in you, when you're facing the difficulties, and it's inevitable that there will be things that trip you up, it's pretty much part of humanity, isn't it? Is that, we have to learn, and learning involves making mistakes. So when those things happen, it's really great to have someone who believes in you. And for me, that person, obviously, I've got my partner who always believes in me, but also sort of on the counselling side was I had a mentor, and she helped me with getting set up in private practice just by gently suggesting that it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. And once I'd taken that leap and decided to hire a room, I was sort of committed then, and that made me do some of the other stuff that needed to be done. So having someone who can support you, and it might be, a peer who's also doing the same thing, it might be a mentor, it might be a coach like myself, it might be your supervisor, it might be your tutor, but just someone else who supports you and believes in you and who you can turn to for help. That is really, really helpful to help you get going and to keep going in your private practice. So those are my three essentials: courage, determination, and someone to support you. The reason I'm sort of thinking about this is on Thursday, my next podcast is coming out. So Good Enough Counsellors podcast on Thursday, 16th of May, 2024, episode 13 of the Good Enough Counsellors podcast. I'm going to talk some more about some of the things that you need for private practice, using my walking holiday as metaphor. So I hope you enjoy that, and I hope you listen in and tune in. And thanks so much for watching this live feed. Bye for now.